Hi everybody, it's Lori with Pollinator Garden Fun and welcome to 2025. This is the garden bed in very early spring. As you can see, it's still pretty brown looking on the surface, but some things are starting to peek up from underneath. So as a pollinator steward, I really like to leave the leaves as long as I can until we get a lot of days in 50-degree temperatures or warmer, just so that the ground has a chance to warm up and let any kind of burrowing caterpillars, bees, or whatever wake up and start to come out before I remove the leaves. I certainly don't want to bag them up and send them off to a landfill when they're still in there when I'm trying to bring them into the property. So these leaves will stay for a little while. I will move them out of the garden beds just so that the ground can warm up faster, but I'll just compost the leaves or spread them out in other areas that I'm going to be putting in new garden beds. Here's a downy rattlesnake. It's a New York orchid. I just planted that last fall. And then up here, this is something in the mint family. It's either downy wood mint or possibly clustered mountain mint. I can't remember which one, and I need it to get a little taller before I can tell what it is. And over here is the black cohosh. I've had this one for, quite a few years now. I also planted some blue cohosh, and we'll see if that comes up. And here's a non-native. It's monk's hood. I don't have all natives in my garden. This is one that I just happen to really like, so that one stays. And here are my winter sowing jugs. I have a lot of plants in here, so there's probably, I think, 17 different seed mixes in here. They're all native plants except for a couple. I do have a couple of annuals in there and just trying to see how they do. I have some tithonia, which is native to Florida, I believe, but it's a real butterfly magnet, so I'm going to try growing some of those as an annual. Some of them actually have started sprouting. The winter sowing acts like a little greenhouse, so the sun comes in, gets them a good start on the season, and probably in a month or so these will get opened up and I will transplant them into the garden, and you don't need to harden them off. I've done this for, I think this is my 3rd year now, and I've had pretty good success. Here's one of my pussy willows. These are really great for bees in the early season. They're one of the very first flowering plants, and it gives food that's desperately needed by bees when they first wake up from their winter sleep. The pussy willows are really easy to grow, and you can cut them at any time if you want to keep them smaller size to be in your garden beds. And here's some yarrow that has showing some green. And I've got some agastaki. I'm glad to see this has come back because I tend to have trouble overwintering that. But pulling the leaves into the garden beds over the winter really helps give them a little bit of protection during the winter. And this is the obedient plant, I'm pretty sure. So that has come back. I have a couple of grasses. I think in here, my sundial lupins actually might be still good. We'll have to see. Sometimes the rabbits get those. And then back here is the hairy woodmint. I believe this is the hairy woodmint. Here's some prairie smoke, the Geum triflorum. This is year number 3 for these. They're very slow growing. And if you look, here is the evening primrose, the yellow Anothera, which I really like. These will need to be divided up, and I will share them with my neighbors because they spread pretty rapidly. I think I started with 2 or 3 plants from my neighbors, and now I have plenty to give to others. And just to show that there are some things blooming, I'm going to end the video with a few of the blooms that are currently happening, such as the daffodils. Obviously not native, but everybody loves them in the spring. and the little muscari grape hyacinths. I have these plunked around in the garden. Again, they're not native, but they are a nice source of color and just nice to see in the spring after a long, hard winter. You can see I still have lots of leaves left. And here is a native. This is Sanguinaria canadensis, or bloodroot. It's a spring ephemeral. And you can see here somebody has been chewing on this. Probably squirrels. I imagine they can be pretty destructive around here. But you can see it's nibbled even on the flower petals and some of the leaves as well. And one of my absolute favorite spring ephemerals. This is Dicentra cucularia, I think is how it's pronounced, or called Dutchman's breeches. You can see the little flowers look like little pantaloons. This is a member of the bleeding heart family, but this is a native plant, kind of for woodland areas. So a few things blooming now. Now that it's getting warmer out, things will go faster and faster, and we'll be seeing more blooms and lots of native plants coming this year. I would love to have you like and subscribe this channel and follow along with me as I add more native plants and bring in all the pollinators. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.